Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Skip Happens. We are off, we are running, and maybe some obstacles too. Tonight, you're going to love this. I hope. We're going to talk about those almost friends. You like them, you see them, but the relationship never levels up. Talking about no blow up, no breakup, just stuck. And we want to know why. And also the important life question: if someone coughs or sneezes over your food while making it, are you still eating it? Think about that. No judgment here. We just want the truth. Miss Ray is with us. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing. We got a lot going on. What do you got going on?
Nothing much. We're just surviving the snow. We're trying to get through it. My car ride home today was awful. The highways were terrible.
Yeah.
But so it took me a little bit longer to get home, but
Yeah.
it's
when
crazy up here in central New York.
Yeah, and you're in upstate New York. You live about maybe a half hour away from where you and I work when we're at the radio station. So, yeah, you get on the highway and still, there's only so much you can do. It's what we call lake effect. And you learn to live with it. You've been there all your life. I've been here all my life. It's all good.
I don't know. I still get that disappointed, like, oh my gosh, more snow. No matter how much snow you get or how many times you see snow, it's still a lot. I don't know. I get a little disappointed. I'm like, snow again? Are we serious? But
it happens.
A little bit north of me got feet of snow overnight. Yes.
They don't count it in inches or anything like that.
It's feet. No, feet. This morning I was working at my other job and this lady was calling saying like, hey, like Oswego got like 2.5 feet. And I was like, excuse me, say that one more time. And she's like, yeah, I said 2.5 feet. And I was like, 2.5 feet? That's insane. How are you guys doing out there? She's like, we're just trying to get by. Like, we're just trying to move the snow and stuff like that. And I was looking at pictures on social media all day. I mean, sidewalks that are usually clear as day were like had snow that went up to your hips, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. What kind of apocalypse are we living in?
Yeah, it's got to be hard to keep up with it, though. I mean, when it snows 2.5 feet, it snows quick and heavy. So it's virtually, you have no opportunity to keep up with it.
No, but I do want to take a second to appreciate our DPW workers during this time. They are putting hours in. I know people in my community are working above and beyond to try and make sure that the roads are clear as best as they can. So we see you. We appreciate you.
Yeah. The men and women, you're doing a great job.
Definitely. We appreciate it. It's something that I think that we take for granted, and then we're quick to be like, oh my gosh, get this done when it's time to get down to business. But I think that we don't take a second to really appreciate them and be like, I know that during this time are putting lots of hours in, and people that are plowing,
Yeah.
I know your brother.
Yeah. Do you know, I'll let you know a little secret. Before we get into everything else we're going to talk about, I used to drive a snowplow. Did you know that?
So you know the struggle.
No, I do. It is a struggle. And the men and women, they go out, they work long hours. I mean, I can remember back in the day being on the road for almost 24 hours at a time. Just when it was snowing and there was no let up in sight and you had to stay after it. And then you had to keep the main roads open. I mean, I did that for quite a while, as well as doing the radio thing. So don't ask me how I did it. I guess I was a whole lot younger, and now I have to drink a whole lot of coffee to keep that up. But
you were probably drinking lots of coffee then too. I mean, there's no way you can get through. It was crazy. Without a caffeine.
One thing about that job is so many people bitch about my street's not plowed. How come? Where are you? What's taking so long? You got to take into consideration that these men and women, number one, the hours they're working, and number two, there's going to be some streets that are a priority for emergency vehicles. Because you live on a street where maybe a few cars go down doesn't mean they're going to hit that right away.
Right.
But, but there is an advantage to living, for example, in a town or a village where those streets all pretty much get done by the town and village. But when you go to the state level, whether it's here in New York or any other state, there's a lot of road to cover, and they can't be everywhere at once. So just 100%. You got to be patient. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So do you have a lot of friends?
I That's a good question. Um, what do you consider a lot of friends? What's a good
Well,
number?
I was reading that the average person throughout a lifetime will have six friends, six real true friends. All
Mhm.
right. And I used to call, like, on Facebook, I have what, 6,000 friends. It's like they're my friends. Are they really? Do I really know them? Or maybe they're just an acquaintance. So there's friends
Mhm.
and there's acquaintances. But, and then the other day, I was told that you're going to have six friends throughout your lifetime. And those six friends will be the six that will carry your coffin because they're going to stick
Mhm.
with you throughout your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An
Mhm.
acquaintance. So, what is an acquaintance? Is it, is that a friend? See, I always considered everybody a friend, but really, think about that.
That's a good point to make, you know?
Is it?
I think it is because it kind of makes you, I don't know, because you're taking a second to kind of think how
So,
you can execute yourself or present yourself, you know what I
mhm,
mean? Or how
mhm,
much
mhm, mhm.
energy per se that you're putting into your relationships, and then you have that other person that you have to kind of take into consideration. There's two parts here, and there's the what you're putting into it and
Mhm, mhm.
understanding. One thing that I heard that I think is very inspiring and kind of relates to this is that you can't find yourself in other people.
Oh,
You know what
that's
I mean?
true.
So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
were to approach something a certain way, you can't expect another person to react or go that same route because
Mhm,
they're not the
mhm.
same person as you. And I think that if you have a friend that can respect that, you know what I mean? That, we're not going to see eye to eye in everything, but as long as we can
True.
compromise, we can grow together and we can support each other, I think that that's benefiting. I
Yeah.
firmly believe that friends should solely fill each other's cups. If you're feeling drained after hanging out with your friends, if you know what I mean? If you've
True.
been
No,
partying all
no.
night, that's a different
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
you're like, like, wow, my social battery is like, woo, I need a second, or you're like, no, I actually
Mhm,
feel
mhm,
better, and I confide in them to talk about things to kind of get that second view, and I don't feel judged. I think that that's a friend. Now,
mhm.
an acquaintance, I think there isn't that much emotion attached to it. I mean, it's
So
kind of give and take. I think it's more, dare I say, materialistic, you
maybe.
know?
Yeah. I made a list. I broke it down, acquaintance
Oh my
and
gosh.
friend. So
I
an
can't wait to
acquaintance.
hear.
No, I know, I know. And agree or disagree. I want to hear it. And anybody,
Definitely.
if you're watching this, feel free to comment as well. So an
Mhm.
acquaintance. All right, here we go. Is someone you know, but not deeply.
That's kind of like what I said.
Yes,
Kind of.
kind of close.
Yeah, close.
Get this, interaction is usually situational. For example, work, gym, school, mutual friends with somebody. That's basically it. Conversation stays surface level, like weather, work, small talk. We don't really go deep with it. Limited emotional investment. That's an important one. And
Mhm.
you probably wouldn't rely on them in a tough moment. Those are, like, for example, let me say this: a coworker you chat with in the break room, let's say you're in the conference room, or someone you see at a local event. That's an acquaintance. That's all that is. It's somebody, you're just hanging out, having just an easy conversation. Now, a
Yeah.
friend. You want to hear my friend list?
Yes.
Ready? All
Yes,
right. All right. Let me know.
definitely.
All right. Here we go. So, my friend list: someone you trust and feel comfortable with. Okay. You spend time together by choice, not just circumstance.
Oh, I love that. By choice, not
Yeah.
circumstance.
Yeah.
Yes,
Get
I
it?
love
Get
that.
it? You feeling
Yes.
it? You feeling it? All
Yes.
right.
Yes, I feel that.
All right. Conversations can be personal or meaningful because
Mhm.
we open up to our closest friends about things you probably can't even talk to your mom or dad about. Think about it. You got a friend that you will open up with, and they'll keep it a secret.
Absolutely.
Whatever they need to do, they don't. That's it. It doesn't go any further. There's emotional support, loyalty, and mutual effort. There you go. You'd likely call or text them when something important happens. That is a friend. and
That's
you're going to get a response. An example, someone you'd invite over, you would vent to, as I mentioned, maybe
mhm.
celebrate wins with, or ask for help. And here it is, simple way to remember it. I made a note of this too. See, I did my homework today. You thought I was on the air. I was doing some homework.
Yeah,
But simple way to remember it. I put an acquaintance. I know you. A friend. I know you, and I care. There is what it's all about. So, what you think of that? Huh?
I
Be good.
loved that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty good.
So, and I've learned a lot because it just some of the things I've been going through and people I've been talking to made me realize that not everybody's your friend. And I was like, no, they're my friends. No, are they really? No, they're not. They're an acquaintance. And I get it. You can be nice and have an acquaintance. I mean, you and
Mhm.
I think we have a pretty good friendship now that we've gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
I think that's meaningful and it's true and it's good. We care about each other.
Mhm.
But then there's other people that you and I see every day. And it's like, hey, how are you? It's good to see you. Well, you know what? They're an acquaintance. They're not really a friend.
Yeah.
So,
It's
so
much
but it's
more
yeah,
surface level, you know what I
it
mean?
is.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not really trying to you and I touched on this earlier. We were talking about how him and I think alike and how like if somebody were to have a conversation, like normally you would have the conversation chronologically, right?
Mhm,
Skip
mhm.
and I, the way that we work, and I'm sure people see in the podcast is we like start talking about something and then our brains go to like three different other things and then we come back to that thing that we were originally talking about.
Mhm.
And even if those things that we're talking about might not correlate or agree with
Right.
each other,
Right.
it's the fact that we're both human. We want to understand each other's perspectives and try to understand where each other's coming from,
No, exactly. Exactly.
which
And
I think is oops, sorry.
no,
I
no,
was
no,
I
go
was just
ahead.
going to say I think is critical because you have so much experience. There's so much knowledge that your brain holds, and I'm just this whole
Wait, whoa,
I'm just
whoa, whoa. I don't know
this
about
fresh
that.
new perspective that's kind of like, I don't
But you-
know. What
but
about
your
this? And then
perspective is good.
I also think like it's like a balance of both too. You know what I mean? Like there's moments where you're fresh and you're hip, you love to work with AI. You work with AI
I
sometimes and
do.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also do that, but you know, I still handwrite my notes.
Yes,
So
yes. And I
so
love that.
there's things that like I don't know. It
See, you
doesn't
would
need to
think
always add up.
with the relationship we have and the difference between us that
Mhm.
you would be the one like working with AI and having things typed out and this and that. Instead, you're doing like a
The
diary,
handwrit yes. I
exactly
wrote in
writing everything
my
out.
journal.
No,
Yep.
I love that. The Skip Happens journal.
It yes, it is, and I was showing him earlier in the
Yeah, I
beginning
love
of the
that.
book is notes from past shows.
Oh my
So,
God, I love that. I love that.
yes, I
But
wanna I wanna be able to reflect on who I
mhm,
am and what
mhm,
I'm talking
mhm.
about right now, and then be able to grow and become a better version of me.
Exactly. More
Mhm.
about friends. They know your kind. I have a lot of notes here, and I love this. I kind of broke it down even a little bit further that an acquaintance and a friend is like access to your inner world. An acquaintance just knows the facts about you. That's about it. All right. A friend knows your context. An acquaintance, it's where you work and what you do and the surface preferences. That's pretty much what I mentioned just a few minutes ago. Um, but a friend can look at you and understand why or what you do and why you do it. They will know what stresses you out. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you know me by now.
Mhm.
You know when I'm not having one of those days. For example,
Right.
when the phones
The
went down, and
Verizon
yeah, the
situation,
Verizon,
right.
yeah, what motivates you and what you're afraid of. I mean, that's a friend not knows all that, and but there's also an emotional risk. Friendship requires risk. Acquaintanceship avoids it. They don't want the risk.
Right.
You know what I mean? All that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just thought it was interesting, as talking to somebody and just kind of finding out where I am in my life and finding out who are my friends and who are not my friends. And it was brought to my attention. Even got a little bit of an argument over it with somebody once saying, no, no, I know them. They're a friend. But are they
Mhm.
really a friend?
Right.
It was somebody at I was over at the ballpark for an event here a few weeks ago, and I mentioned to somebody that, hey, I saw somebody that knows you, and then we were talking, and they were like, well, how do you know that person? I went, they're a friend, and they go, no, 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 they're not a friend. They're just an acquaintance. They're just somebody you know. And so that, and I brought that up to a therapist and all that, and we discussed it. And this is where I am. This is why I wanted to talk about it.
Mhm.
It just made me really, really think and think deep about
Yeah.
who's really my friend. Miss Ray's
Yeah.
my
And I
friend.
think yes,
I know.
definitely. And I think that that's really relatable to a lot of people on so
Mhm.
many levels, you know what I mean? Where they they look at a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's an acquaintanceship, is that a word?
Mm,
Or even like intimate relationships, you know? You
yeah,
reflect
yeah,
on those and you kind of think like, what am I seeking from this person and why am I seeking it and what is this person giving me and stuff like that. So I think the perspectives that you put out were very interesting.
yeah. I think about what I do and
Mhm.
been doing it a long time, and I considered so many people friends,
Can
and
I
and they're not friends, they're acquaintances. All right,
mhm.
go ahead, shoot. I'm ready.
How how has social media impacted that like your interpretation of that? Because I think that with social media, I find myself subconsciously comparing myself to others or looking at other people and thinking like, we've talked about parasocial relationships where like people find
Mhm,
an artist
mhm,
and they're like, I
mhm,
relate
mhm,
to this
mhm,
person.
mhm, mhm.
But then you get on a more lower or smaller spectrum and you can have the ability to form these relationships. What do you think
What?
about
The
social
social media?
media?
I
Yeah.
Man, I did everything's friends. You're friends, but you're
Yes.
not really
Everything's
friends.
likes, everything's
I,
um
because of doing what I do and, being who I am, not it doesn't matter, I don't look at
mhm,
it that way, but people wanna friend you. For example, on Facebook, and I usually accept them, because they may listen to the station, they like what I do on
mhm.
air and all that, so I've got friends. But you know what? I mean, it was brought to my attention a while ago. They're saying, "You got 6,000 friends. How many of those do you really know?" As I mentioned minutes ago too. So, I mean, social media kinda gives you that false but
Yeah.
but if you get in a certain state of mind, it can really affect you as well,
Mhm,
I mean, let's look at what social media has done to some of our youth and what it just I hate to
mhm.
say it, a lot of them have they're no longer with us because of the way they were bullied online. Somebody thought they were a friend or they're not a friend or a
Yeah.
boyfriend, girlfriend, some crap like that. And it's just terrible the way that happens. So, I mean, I love social media, but I also hate it because yeah, this whole friend thing and,
Yeah,
they
definitely.
should you be an acquaintance or should you be a friend?
Right,
Would you acquaintance me?
exactly.
Do
Or
you,
yeah,
or do you
I
want
wish
to go
that was an
deeper?
option. Yes,
Wouldn't that be
exactly,
funny?
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, it's hilarious. It's
That is
hilarious.
funny.
It's crazy stuff. By the way, and let's move on here just a little bit. Next subject is I see the Skip Happens logo in your background on your huge television. What is
Yes.
that like? That's like a 34
A
inch,
hu
36.
she's
Let
a
me get my
solid 35
binoculars on.
inches. I can
No, you did. Yeah, I know you're kind of filling the screen. I get it. That's cool. Uh-oh. Yeah, take my name off. Wait a minute. Well, that's not you
alright.
should have put the one on with your picture.
Yeah, I got the wrong one.
Not too late.
That's okay, skip happened today, skip happened.
Skip happened a
That's
long time.
why we're
Long
doing it
time.
on a Thursday. We're
It
just
is. It is.
the weather's been throwing us for a loop this
Definitely
week.
threw us off. But I did
Yeah.
want to tease you about the television a little bit. I do have something else I want to talk about. Then you can go on. But
So you mentioned earlier, I wanna revert to what you
yes,
said
please do.
earlier about,
We're going to go back just a little bit.
sneezing at the
Yes.
restaurant.
Yes.
And I was thinking about that, and my first thought when you said that was, if something like that were to happen, would you be mad at the person or would you be mad at the business? You know what
Ooh,
I
that's
mean? Like,
another good. Well, the
would
business should
you
be. Go ahead.
would
Go
you
ahead.
be say you went to Chili's.
Okay.
Chili's, this is no hate. You're just
All
the
right.
victim in
So
this
so we go to
circumstance.
Chili's.
We
Okay.
go to Chili's.
Love Chili's, by the
We're
way,
getting
and the
served the
chips.
triple dipper and somebody just sneezes all over it.
You go
Like
there.
all
Wait a
over
minute.
your
Hold on.
mouth.
Hold on. Hold on. You said the triple dipper. So you go there. So
I know
you're
what yes, I know
yeah.
what's
Okay.
up.
All right. All right.
Yes.
I just double checking, but that
Yeah.
is good. I love the dipper. Go ahead.
Yes. So you get the triple dipper and then somebody sneezes all over your mott stick and you like become enraged. Are you going to become mad at the person, like the waitress, or are you mad the
Oh my
at
God.
the Chili's, at Chili's?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me back it up a little bit. I get that. But the question, what we're
Right
talking
ahead.
about is in the very beginning, is one of the things we were
Yeah.
going to chat about tonight was if you saw someone cough or sneeze over your food while preparing it, would you still eat it? So that's what's led us to this conversation now
Yes.
about going to Chili's. And, that's a great question. Who would you be mad at?
Mhm.
Would you be mad at the waiter or the waitress, or would you, you know,
Blame the establishment.
the establishment needs to train their waiters and waitresses. So
Right,
I
but
think
that
they,
person should have common courtesy to be able to excuse themselves or turn the other way. And I don't know, I kind of see both sides.
hmm, I do. Yeah, I think there's two sides to that. Would I be upset? I would be.
Yes.
But then, would it depend on who it is?
Mhm.
Let's say you're not at Chili's, but what if it's a stranger versus someone you know? Does that make a difference?
That's me just speaking for myself. If
Or,
other people
or
have
what if it's just like,
what if
into
it's
your
your
elbow?
own sneeze? What if you sneeze into your own food?
Well, I think
That's
that happens more often than not
oh
because,
my god.
I mean, it's
You know,
disgusting. I get it just
yes,
thinking about it. But
but accidents happen.
yeah, skip happens and it happens
Yeah.
all the time. But think about that. If it's somebody you know, does that make a difference? Does it depend on where you are? You mentioned Chili's. What if you're
Mm.
just home and
I
your
don't
little
know.
sister comes over and she sneezes over your spaghetti?
I'm infuriated. I'm infuriated. It's over. I've lost my appetite.
All right. Okay. All right.
I need a new
The
plate.
family holiday meal, you get everybody together. Somebody's going to have a cold.
I
And
I
does it
I
matter
also
what kind
think
of,
a cough is a little bit different than a sneeze.
oh my God, you took the words right out of my mouth. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think a sneeze is much more, um I'm trying to think of it's just
Well,
more out there, It's
well,
more
it can be,
aggressive.
but
Yeah, than
is
a
it
cough.
really? Have you heard some of these people cough and it comes from so
That's
deep
true.
and it sounds like they're hacking up a lung
Yeah.
and then they continue about their business?
It's
Yeah,
interesting.
no, it is.
The one
What
of
what if well, I guess if they turned away and you still saw it, it's still the same.
Can I draw a parallel to another, situation kind
Okay.
of similar to this, but it's music related? So,
Okay.
let's look at, when artists say crazy stuff.
Okay.
Okay, for example, Kanye West.
I don't know where this is going, but I'm
If
ready.
that's okay. So, Kanye West, right?
Yeah.
My question is do say you love Kanye. Are you
Mhm.
going to confide into cancel culture because he messed up, or are you willing to separate the art from the artist? And that's where I think that can be drawn to the Chili's analogy, to the Chili's story,
Oh.
is because are you going to look at that artist, the waitress, and blame them and look at them and say, I'm going to cancel you? Or are you going to
Mm.
separate the art from the artist, the art and Chili's situation being Chili's? But can you look at the business and say, hey, like, I'm fine with that? And then if you draw that to music, are you quick to follow that cancel culture? Or are you one that's has the ability to separate art from artist.
I can separate it.
You
I
can
can
separate
separate
it.
it. Yeah. Art. I mean, when you talk about artists, their art is their music.
Mm-hmm.
And a good example of that is maybe I'm shifting gears here just a little bit, but do you remember the Dixie Chicks? Have you heard of the
Yeah,
Dixie Chicks?
I have. I actually have
Okay. And
a
I don't mean that in a
Dixie.
bad. Okay, go
No,
ahead.
you're good. My mom saw the Dixie Chicks and she gave me a Dixie Chicks CD
Oh,
that's on
cool.
my desk at work. But yes,
Did
sorry.
it have Goodbye Earl on it?
I
You don't
don't
know.
know if
You'll
it
have to look it
does.
up after. I'm just,
Actually, there's a
because
little backstory to the
Earl needed to
CDs.
die. So,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
I'll leave it
Yes.
at that.
We're gonna have to check.
But see, the Dixie Chicks, they were awesome in the way that they could
I
sing, they
know.
could write, they did their thing, they put out great music. Then Natalie, the leader of the Chicks, in a different country, got on stage and said something about our then president, bashed our country, whatever.
And this was in the early 2000s,
Yes,
correct? Just to
yes,
kind of give people
yeah,
that might
yeah,
not know the Dixie
yeah,
Chicks. I
yeah.
know they're a good
Yep.
group, but yep,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, but there was now there's a political
It was
side to it,
political.
and people were like, "That's it. The Dixie Chicks are done. I'll never buy another CD. I'll never buy any more music that anything to do with the Chicks. It's done. It's over." It just they were banned from radio. But they weren't really banned from radio. A lot of stations did that on their own. They banned them. But when I was working at another country station at that time, um, I took this stance as me. This was me saying, I don't agree with what they did, but I don't hold it against the music. I'm not going to say, their music sucks because of what they said. Their music is great, but I
Mhm.
disagree with what they did.
Right.
But I don't, so I kind of stood that ground and saying you got to separate the politics from the music. That's, when it came to that. So,
Mhm.
but maybe I've taken a right turn here, but still that, that's how I felt about that. So, yeah. Now I don't know
I
what
feel
that has
that,
to
and
do
I
with
think
food, but
it's just, um that's hilarious. What does it gotta do with food? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. It could be the fries.
But what I was gonna say is, I think that kinda draws to, Kanye actually recently. This is some hot news, everyone, some pop culture news. Kanye just, released an apology letter
Yes.
about what he said earlier, a few years ago that was politically related. And I read a little bit of it, because I do sometimes listen to Kanye despite what he's
Mhm.
said. I separate the art from the
There you go.
artist. And he spoke really heavily on mental health and how he struggled and how he had to overcome that and is trying to overcome that. And I think that I think is really inspiring, to be able to become vulnerable like that and admit when you might be wrong. And I'm
Mhm.
not sure if the Dixie Chicks did that same thing, you know what I mean, where they
I don't ever
did
recall.
apologize.
I could be entirely wrong, but for some reason I don't recall that they ever did.
And
But
that's okay.
time
Some
has gone on.
circumstances,
Yep.
right. Some
Yep.
circumstances, people change, they evolve, they grow, they have different ideas over time, and they reflect and they're like, I didn't really agree with that. And then other people stay firm in what they believe. There's no right or wrong. People are allowed to stay firm and
Mhm.
fierce in what they
Mhm.
believe, and
Mhm.
people are
Mhm.
also allowed to change and change their minds. So I don't think that there's a right or wrong in that.
No, I got you there. I got you there. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Wow. Interesting, though. It's all interesting, and it all goes back to food. So, I mean, we,
Yeah,
we talked about that a little bit, but
of
I
course.
guess I guess if somebody, let's back it up a little bit. That if somebody did, I mean, we got off in these subjects, but they're kind of parallel. You're right. You can
Mhm.
kind of go either way with this, either side, which is cool. And but
Mhm.
we started it off with, would you eat something if somebody sneezed or coughed over it while preparing it? So, which I would assume you would not, regardless who it was, if you saw it. But do you think that happens all the time? Or do you think it happens more times than not? You don't know what goes on in the kitchen.
That's so true.
Do you ever think about that?
Have you ever worked in food service?
Can't answer with a question.
Well, I've worked in food service, so I've
All right.
learned to never ask questions. You just eat what you've eaten and you just be happy that you got something in your belly.
Would you eat it
If
if
you
you were
see
really
something
hungry? Okay, go ahead.
if you see something wrong, something a little suspicious, then
Okay.
ask questions.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
most
All
of the
right.
time people follow the rules.
Yeah. Would you eat it if you were really hungry and it was the last meal? Last option? Not meal. Last option? No? Okay. You'd go hungry. You say, that's it. I'll have a snack when I get home.
I don't know. I turn into Marsha
Or
when I
would
get
you?
hungry. So so it's hard for me to sit here and be like, no, I wouldn't eat it when I know that I probably if it was 3 days and I had no food, the
Probably.
girl's gonna
Yeah.
do it.
What if it was
She's gonna crave.
really, really expensive and a once in a lifetime meal?
Mm,
See, I know. I guess it would all depend on how it all went down. So, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
it would.
So there
It
you
would
go.
definitely.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Mhm.
And let's go to another page. Check this out. As you know, we're doing everything we can to promote Skip Happens. And, we have the pod zone here, and I go and I get different things, mugs we hand out. People can purchase them. We're sending them out as well. And well, my new mugs came in. You may have seen them in my office. And I don't know if you've noticed how I spelled podcast. That is it actually
Little typo.
podcast. I love that. Podcast. They used to, like
That's
Tia said
hilarious.
today, they used to have like cow pud, but
I've
it's a
which
whole
was
different subject.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard of that, but apparently cowpud's a thing.
Apparently, I think they came out pretty cool. And then I'm going, oh, these look really cool. Our new mugs are in.
Mhm.
And then I see podcast, and that's nobody's fault but my own because I did not look
Right.
at the graphic close enough to say, oh, I got to fix that. Instead, I just said, yep, looks good. Put my credit card in there and paid for it, and here they are a week later with podcast. So now this is the Skip Happens podcast. It's a good play on words, though. I like that. Actually, I may, we may just go with it.
You may keep that.
We will. I'll
Yeah.
make sure you get one too.
It's
So
like
that's
a
kinda cool.
it's like a a Bob Ross mistake, It's just a happy accident.
Bob Ross. Love Bob Ross.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it's just a happy
Is he
accident.
still painting, doing that stuff? I don't know. Or
I
is,
don't
oh my God, is it still alive? Huh?
I don't know.
I
Let's
don't,
see.
I know. Oh yeah, there you go. You look that baby up. Yeah.
Let's
So,
see.
and he's got to be up there in years as we
Oh
turn
my
towards.
gosh, he passed away in 1995
What?
from lymphoma.
Oh, cancer sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. You know what? I should have known that.
But it's amazing that his legacy can live on.
It does.
It's amazing
And
that over 30 years later, people are still making Bob Ross references. That's
yeah,
really cool.
Zach was Bob Ross on Halloween. He has
Wasn't
the
Nancy?
wig, and then Nancy was Bob Ross
Yes.
she went to work for the Syracuse Mets, and I think she dressed up as Bob Ross one day.
Which was awesome. It was amazing. It was iconic. I loved it. I was like, I had to do a double take. I was like, ain't no way this is Nancy. But it is. She's
It is,
there
yeah.
behind the beard and the
Yeah.
wig. She's under there.
Yeah. Skip Happens, baby. That's what it's
That's
all about.
awesome.
It's the
That's so
podcast.
cool.
Yeah, it is. Anything else you'd like to bring up? What do we I know you had some stuff there in your journal. Your Skip
I
Happens
do.
journal.
I had a lot of just human related stuff.
Yeah.
Just like
What?
You mentioned friendships earlier, and one thing
Yeah.
that I did have was how humans are always seeking validation. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I think everybody can relate to in any way, that we all enjoy validation, whether we seek that. We don't need to use that word, but we all can say that you enjoy validation.
100%.
So I think that what's really cool is kind of talking about um like artists changing after they hit rock bottom, and how people will, once they've hit a low point in their life, or they hit a certain point in their life, that they make that change that's necessary. And how
When
just how
when you say change, what do you mean?
like a personal change, like a, I guess, an outlook on life.
Looking at things a little
um
bit different. You
yeah,
did
like
it,
your
and then
perspective shifts, and I think
yeah.
that you can see that on so many different levels, whether it's rock bottom,
Hmm.
making
Hmm.
drastic changes, or even on other levels, like people, I think it can even be as simply as changing the way you dress. Like
That's
just
true. That's
kind of feeling
yeah,
like you
yeah.
have to change yourself or shift yourself, and that pressure of having to do that. And um another thing that I did have was, when you feel pressure, and especially when it comes down to careers, how how do you deal with that pressure when you're working with the battle between making it, like just having to make it, versus loving the art? You know what I mean? So,
Well, loving the art. I mean, you got to love the art. If you're going to make it, you got to
definitely.
have a passion and dedication for what you're doing, what you're
Mhm,
putting out, whether or not it makes it. I don't know.
mhm.
It'd be nice if it did, but does that really matter? If you're happy, if you love what you're putting out, you love what you're doing, why would that matter? Of course, I mean, you want your bills paid and you want things taken care of and you want to make sure, yeah, you want to make it, yes. But if you
But
love what you do,
I think happiness can be open for interpretation, because I mean, we all feel sadness, and I assure that you can count a handful of sad songs off the top of your head. So why are these artists happy if they're feeling sad? And I think that that's where that rock bottom comes into place. Like, you have people dealing with real emotions. They're feeling like this pressure. They're feeling like they need to change, or they might
I
even be struggling with how they're dealing with their relationships with friends versus acquaintances, and they're expressing that through their
love that.
music and their
Yeah.
art. And I just think that that can kind
But
of be relatable to all of us.
I mean, just if an artist puts out a song that's really sad or it grabs you right in the heart, doesn't mean he's not happy. He's writing about real life. He's singing about real life and he's singing about, something that matters. And as we've mentioned in other
So,
podcasts, or I have, that if they can touch your
mhm.
heart, they've got you as a fan, you're going to go and buy their music. So
So
they're,
even if that
everybody's happy.
artist is singing sad songs, do you think that there's
There's
still a
still happiness.
happiness?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There is. It's when you're singing the sad songs and nobody's buying your songs, and
That
that's not
yes,
good.
that
That's not
stinks.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's artists. I mean, if you listen to country music, I know you're not exactly, and no disrespect meant, but the country station is not your station. I get that,
Mhm.
and I know. It never used to be mine until years ago, and I was forced to go do it. Now I love it.
Yeah.
But and I think it would happen to you too if you had that opportunity. But country music, that's what it's all about. It's all about life. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of upbeat songs, a lot of fun songs, but you know what? There's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of
Mhm.
drinking. There's a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of that going on. And
I mean, one of like the top country songs right now is Morgan Wallen's "I Got Better," and every
yes,
time I listen to that, it tears on my heartstrings. It really, really does. And I'm like, is he feeling happy, or is he feeling like, it's hard to
that's a good
distinguish
question.
how he really feels when, it's just, it's very interesting.
Yeah, no, no doubt, no doubt, it is. And Morgan Wallen, he's been through a lot. He's been through
Mhm.
alcohol, drugs early on. He's done so much though, and apparently he's got himself back on the right track now. But this happened before. He got himself back on the right track and he derailed. So
Mhm.
but
But then
I
he
don't
pulled
know.
himself together, and
Yep. And threw a
and
chair
he
off the roof.
himself, he and that may have been rock bottom from him. You know what I mean? And
It may have
he
been. It
made a
almost hit a
choice, and
cop, but other than that,
I think in circumstances like that, when people make mistakes, you have two options. You can either let the guilt consume you, and the
mm,
you're that struggle consume you,
right, right. Don't
or
let it.
you can make a change, and you can choose, I'm gonna go to rehab, I'm gonna go to therapy, I'm gonna make some new friends, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna take care of my mental, and it's gonna help me
How
both
would you?
personally,
Yeah,
professionally.
yeah, yeah. No, I was going to circle back, and I don't know if I wanted to do that right now, but
Go
but
right ahead.
no, well, friends and acquaintances, and we all have our circles. How big is your circle? How big is your circle? Do you just let anybody into your circle? You don't.
I don't let anybody in, because I don't know, I'm very protective, of who I am,
You should
and like
be.
who I am right now,
Mhm.
and it's taken a lot of work to get here, and to have
Right.
yeah, to have everything that
See.
I have. So I select people very carefully, but we've talked about this before, how
Hmm, hmm.
in my friendships, they're my best friend, her and I could not be more polar opposites, like completely opposite. The way that we think, the way that
Hmm,
we act, the way that we
hmm,
dress, like
hmm.
everything's really pretty opposite. But there's something about that yin and yang relationship that it just works. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, we don't, and we appreciate that about each other. We talk about how, thank you for thinking differently than I do. Thank you for doing, having this
Hmm,
different
hmm, hmm.
perspective. And her and I are drastically different, politically, religiously, like, in all
Yeah,
spectrums. But I
yeah.
think that there's something that's going to teach both of us something that we need to know. Do you know what I mean? Because
I
I don't
don't.
know. I just
Yeah,
feel like
no,
there's a reason
no.
for that.
It is opposites attract. Even
Mhm.
even with relationships. I mean, not just friends. I don't know about acquaintances, but I know with friends,
Mhm.
opposites will attract. And relationships, I mean, we're opposite here. I'm a slob. She's an eat freak.
Yeah.
you've, you've seen my pod zone.
I get it. I get
No,
it.
no, but it's actually pretty neat right now. But still, no, no, that's what it's all about. Yeah. So
Yeah. It's
good
about that
conversation. Yeah,
complimenting each other. And
it is.
my circle doesn't, I'm more of a quality over quantity type of person. So I would rather have a friend that's going to benefit me in, like I said, more quality than having quantity. Like, I don't care
Mhm.
about having 20 friends. I'd rather have 5 solid friends than 20 friends that wouldn't be there.
See, I agree with you, but I never really thought that way. I was always the type of guy that wanted to make everybody happy and had the more friends, the happier I would be. But here we go. We go back to what we were talking about minutes ago. Are they really friends? No, they're acquaintances. There is a
Yeah.
difference. And I've learned that. I've learned that recently that there is a
And
difference.
you and I were also kind of talking about this, and this stems from personal, like why do you do that? Why do
Mhm,
you feel the need to please people? Because I do the same thing, where I would I'll do whatever I got to do to make sure that there's no conflict, no confrontation, and then when I reflect on that, I'm kind of like, well, I got the short end of the straw, and I'm not very
mhm,
happy about that. But then you're like, well, what did I do to change that, to stand out, and
mhm, mhm.
you know
Then you start doing that, then you start justifying why you are the way you are, right? I mean, if doesn't that happen, or am
I
I don't
think
know.
that's a good point. I don't think that we all want validation.
We
I
do.
like the word validation better. I think that there's nothing wrong in validating yourself.
Mhm,
I don't like the word justifying.
mhm.
I think it to me equates proving. Like, you got to prove, prove. And I don't know. why somebody would need to do that in a personal relationship. I mean, what are we proving?
Right,
What are we
exactly.
what are we gonna show?
But you
And
feel you have to do that. I know, I know.
but I think that that's also because people are very competitive.
Hmm.
I feel like people want to um have the best, and I don't blame them. I mean, I want the best, but there's very little compromise when it comes to that.
Right, right. Wow.
Or yeah.
Wow. Great conversation today. I love this. I love this. And we went deep. We went
Really.
deep about friends and acquaintances. And we talked about, would you eat food if you saw somebody sneeze or cough over it? You're at a restaurant. You're at, well, I know you mentioned Chili's, but that wasn't meant to be like, it's nothing like that. But it's just, I know you
It's
go there
just
and
an example, right.
you get your triple dipper.
Yes.
Nothing
Yes.
better than getting the chips you get
That
the chips
too.
and
They got
salsa.
delicious
Unlimited.
chips and salsa. I also love their guacamole and cheese. So
Mm,
we
mm.
love Chili's. This Chili, like I said, Chili's was just the example, but
No, no, no. I
yeah,
get it. We actually go there quite often. So yeah, it's just yeah.
they're
We can talk.
awesome.
Yeah, we can talk about that next time. But what a great conversation! As you know, we chatted about relationships, friends, and acquaintances, and you can go back and watch it. If you do watch this, leave us a comment that you're looking at it afterwards. Also, we talked about, as I mentioned a moment ago, about coughing and sneezing over your food while somebody's making it, and are you still eating it? I just thought that was like, well, think about it. It happens.
It does
There's things,
happen.
skip happens.
Accidents
Yes.
happen, and that's okay,
It's
you
okay.
know?
Yeah. Skip happens, everybody. And it
And
does.
the real question is if somebody did sneeze in your food, would you want to know or would you not want to know?
That's a
Like,
good
what
one.
would make you feel better? Would knowing that
And
somebody
and
sneezed, or if you just ate it and then found out, like, "Hey, someone sneezed in your food,"
that's a very
and it's
good
all in your
question.
stomach?
I can't answer that, but if you're watching this, I want you to put in the comments whether you're watching it now
Yeah.
or you're watching it down the road. There it is. That's the question. Let us know too, and we'll talk about it next time. We'll even give you a shout out next time right here on Skip
Yes!
Happens. It's Miss Ray. Of course, my name is Skip Clark, and of course, Skip Happens podcast from the Pud Zone for the
From the Pud Zone.
Pubcast. Pud. I call it a pub, but it's Pud with a D. I screwed that up. I don't know. I definitely messed that up. Thanks for watching, everybody. And what a great night. And Miss Ray is right there from her home studio and her 34-inch
Yes.
television in the back. But it's all good.
Don't worry, it's the big screen.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to fix that for you.
Yes.
Skip Happens is going to make sure you get a bigger screen. So, all right. Thanks
Oh
for
my
watching, everybody. You good? You good?
Yes.
We're
I'm good.
All right. We love you. We love you. And thanks for watching
Thank
Skip
you.
Happens YouTube. Subscribe, and we'll see you next week, too. Right here. Skip Happens.
Yeah, see everyone next week.
So long.